Hey, what's up you guys? It's Six. Welcome back to my channel. So this video started out as a 3-marker challenge initially, but I liked the piece so much that I ended up switching my focus to a 1-layer style video. I'd started working on it as that 3-marker challenge, and I felt like I was ruining the piece, and I really didn't want to. I was really attached to it, so I decided, like I said, to make a 1-layer style video. I really liked the colors from that 3-marker video though, so I am going to use those as my sort of inspiration for what I want this final piece to look like in the final palette that I'm going to end up using. So let us tackle this illustration. Like I said, this was initially supposed to be a 3-marker challenge, and I wanted to do a non-human but still kind of humanoid character for this piece, assuming right away that I most likely wasn't going to get any natural skin tone when this was a 3-marker challenge. So I ended up creating this piece. I was pretty stuck on the fairy idea because that's what popped into my head first, and I ultimately settled on that, especially considering I've been doing a lot of demon girls lately, both on my Patreon and just in my personal work in general. Also, ironically, this month for my commission work as well. So I thought I'd shift the focus a little bit over to our femmes on the other side of the realm, fairies, of course. I sketched something really simple and portrait focused in Procreate because I obviously love doing portraits, and I'd been looking at a lot of portraiture and just like portrait paintings the morning that I was working on this, and that obviously inspired me quite a bit. I'm really actually proud of how this piece turned out. At first I wasn't coming up with any ideas, and I was doing that thing where I compare myself to other artists and kind of like put myself down a little bit. Like I was sitting there saying I always draw characters with similar features and similar poses and expressions and stuff, and while that is true, I decided, you know what? Hold on. Let me look at the Instagrams of a few of my favorite creators, and after going through them, it was like, newsflash, I just have an art style, and people can only look in so many directions before things start to repeat themselves, including in the work of some of my favorite artists. I definitely do want to branch out, obviously, but at the same time, I don't want to do that at the risk of taking the love out of making art. So I settled down and finished out this sketch, and I love her so much. I think she ended up so pretty. I also decided not to do any line art because I liked the sketch so much, and obviously that's generally how I tend to do 1-layer things anyway. I'm slowly also starting to just fall out of love with doing line art. Sometimes it greatly improves my illustrations, and sometimes I end up at a point where things just look way too stiff. It loses a lot of the looseness, a lot of the life that my sketches have. And like I said, I'm just really falling in love with the look of 1-layer paintings again, so I don't really have to do line art, and I wanted to go into this challenge with a piece that I really liked and could have a lot of fun working on, so I didn't want to risk doing line art and then ruining that. I also have noticed a kind of trend with that as well when it comes to, I offer colored sketch commissions and then like fully rendered ones, and a lot of the time I do end up loving my fully rendered pieces because I get to go, you know, way more in on the details and stuff, but I've also just been really vibing with the look of my colored sketches because they look so pretty and so natural, and you can tell that I have more fun working on them because they take me way less time. Like, I'm talking sometimes same day completion because sketches come so easily to me, and then colors are really fun for me to do. I never have an issue doing colors and rendering colors and things like that, so it almost is just like effortless for me to do. But when I do line art, it's not fun. I don't like it. So I definitely can see why I would be leaning towards doing this whole 1-layer thing again. So what was it like to actually render in this style again after like several years at this point? Because fun fact, if you look way back on my channel or on my Instagram, you'll see that this is actually how I used to render, or at least how I had intended to render back then. My skills have improved significantly since, at least where anatomy and color are concerned, not necessarily technique in this regard, but I was really excited to see how this would translate into my current art style, my current level of experience, and the answer is a little questionable. I think I definitely definitely still have a lot to learn when it comes to working in this style again. I remember having trouble wondering when I should merge my layers, how dark my sketch layers should be, and just all sorts of overthinking about how I should be working on this. I remember that it used to be so second nature to me, but it's way more of a struggle now. I even restarted halfway through this illustration because I didn't like how it had looked initially. Hence that little skip from just having the skin to the full base colors readily laid out. I'd gotten about halfway through the piece and decided that I was not liking how things were blending, and I found it confusing to kind of navigate what things I would try to blend on the same layer, or if I should be creating new layers and trying to work over top of them and then merging back down, and just all sorts of mess that I could not wrap my brain around. So I decided to start over. Once starting over though, I tried to make some of my underpainting a little more detailed so that when I merged things, they wouldn't be quite as confusing for me. And this was both good and bad, as it made it easier for me to blend, but I don't think that it gives off the look that I was going for in the end. I think I definitely need to do some studies both of Sarah Tepes and similar artist work and processes. Did I even mention that this was brought on because I watched a ton of Sarah Tepes that morning, and I was just looking at her work, and Sarah Tepes and Loish, and Kiwi Bird, to be honest with you, have always been like artists where back in the 2010s I would see their speed paints and I'd be like, I want to draw just like that. I want all my work to be just like that. It was always something that I was drawn towards. But when switching to Procreate in late, would it be 2017, I think, I couldn't get that look to come around. I couldn't recreate the pieces that I would have in Sai, because I used to use Paint Tool Sai, and switching to Procreate, I couldn't find the right brushes, I couldn't find the right vibe or anything like that. I just wasn't looking how I wanted it to, so I kind of branched over into doing line art, and then I got really attached to line art. I got really stuck doing that, but I'm trying to get out of it. I think I definitely need to, again, like I said, do some studies. I know that my work then was less professional if I'm going back and doing studies of my old work in that style, because again, like I said, it was like effortless. So I want to go back and see not only artists that I'm inspired by, but also my own personal work back then, and try to grasp how I personally did it, and see if I can then take my current knowledge of my process, their process, and my old process, and then kind of combine them into one little amalgamation, and maybe I will get the look that I was always dreaming for. I don't know. It was so weird. It's so weird how it was so much easier for me then. I remember not having, like, obviously I had trouble with it because it's like, it's making art, stuff's not coming out in your head. It's going to be frustrating, but I remember it wasn't the process that was stressful. It was like the anatomy, the art style wasn't what I wanted, or not art style, that's not the right word, I guess. Just the proportions, the getting ideas out of my head and onto paper was hard, but the actual technique itself was always something that was very easy. I always felt like the painting portion was like, yes, this is what I want it to look like. I just wish my initial illustration was better, and I don't know if the reason that the process back then was so much easier for me was because art wasn't as stressful in a way. It was just something that I did for myself, and maybe occasionally shared to others on ye old dark ages of Tumblr and DeviantArt, but there was way less pressure behind it, obviously, so maybe that contributed to some of the ease. I don't know, but I want to find that ease again. I remembered painting like this would go so quickly and so smoothly, and it was so much fun and made me so happy, and I really want to get back to that. And I think with some studies and some deep dives into my own work and the work of others in that style, I think I will slowly get back to that, I hope. But however, most importantly, the outcome, or the most important outcome, is that despite me not really nailing the technique and having some trouble rendering in the beginning, I still ended up with a piece that I think looks really cute, at least to me. I love her and all of her details. She definitely was interesting to try to pull together, but I am really happy. I really like her, and I hope you guys do too. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this and even a full real-time speed paint of this and other pieces, I'm about to drop like a ton of speed paints as soon as I find time to edit them. Sunflower is actually having a 1-year anniversary this month that I will be tabling at, hence why I did not things are crazy. I have a lot of stuff that I'm missing over there, but that I will upload very, very soon. So you should check out the Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/six.studios. There you can get things like speed paints, like I said, as well as access to exclusive merch and podcasts and a whole lot more. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons: Elise Thompson, Duran, Mandy, Sleeps, Created by Twins, Inkimu Art, Psychwalker Art, Lucian at Cowboy Sketch, Fish Nor Flesh, Becky Scribbles, Akita Kai, and Watery Turd. Thank you guys so much. I would not be able to keep running this channel without y'all, so I really do appreciate you. Also, I'm running into a dangerous video drought for ideas, so let me know what content you guys want to see on this channel. Again, I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!